The dealership was buzzing that morning, the hum of luxury cars and the chatter of salesmen filling the air. Samantha, a young waitress in her early 20s, had never imagined herself in a place like this, dressed in her modest uniform. She was here only to help her friend test drive a car, but as soon as she stepped inside, the glances started, some curious, some mocking. The showroom smelled of leather and ambition, and Samantha felt painfully aware of her plain appearance against the polished wealth surrounding her. A salesman approached with a forced smile. "Can I help you find something, miss?" Before she could answer, 3 sharply dressed men sneered from a corner, whispering to each other as they pointed at her. Samantha felt her cheeks burn. Ignore them, she told herself, gripping the edge of the brochure she was holding. She tried to focus on her friend's questions about the car, but the laughter from those men made her shrink a little more with every passing second. "Do you even know what you're looking at?" One of the men jeered, loud enough for the whole floor to hear. Her friend looked embarrassed, apologizing quickly as Samantha forced a smile and said nothing. Her pride stung more than her embarrassment. She hated feeling powerless, being treated like a joke. She made a quiet mental vow. If life ever gave her the chance, she would never feel this small again. Samantha spent the next hour helping her friend, keeping her head down, dodging stares and whispers. The men continued their subtle harassment, calling her names under their breath, laughing when they thought no one noticed. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore. She excused herself, muttering an apology to her friend, and stepped outside into the bright sunlight. Her heart pounded, but behind the shame, a flicker of determination sparked. She refused to be humiliated like this forever. A week later, Samantha walked into a bank she had only visited a few times, her hair styled and her outfit sharp, professional. She carried herself differently now, the kind of confidence that comes from planning, from knowing exactly what she wanted. The teller looked up, recognition flickering, but Samantha didn't stop. She had a meeting to attend. It was the beginning of something new, a path she had built from nights working double shifts and weekends, studying business. Within months, she had started her own small investment firm, leveraging opportunities most people overlooked. Her savings, combined with a few calculated risks, had begun to snowball into something significant. She remembered every insult, every laugh from that dealership, and used it as fuel to keep moving forward. Every time doubt crept in, she pictured those 3 men smirking, and it reminded her why she was working harder than anyone else. One afternoon, she walked into that same dealership, but this time, the world looked completely different. Gone was the nervous waitress who had shuffled through the doors a few months ago. In her place stood a confident young woman, wearing a tailored suit and an aura of authority. Same men who had mocked her looked up, their jaws almost dropping in disbelief, as if the universe had played a trick on them. Samantha smiled faintly. There was a quiet satisfaction in seeing them, stunned into silence. She approached the showroom manager first, introducing herself as the new investor for a major client looking at multiple vehicles. The staff looked surprised but welcomed her politely, unaware of her past humiliation. Samantha's presence demanded respect, not because of loud words, but because of the unmistakable air of power she now carried. She remembered the first time she had walked in, embarrassed and small, and it made this moment taste like triumph. The 3 men tried to approach her, attempting their usual smug banter, but Samantha ignored them, speaking only to the manager. "Let's see your best options," she said, her tone calm, composed, yet carrying authority. They tried to interject, making comments, but she simply turned, giving them a look that silenced their arrogance. The same laughter that had once tormented her now met only a quiet, unshakable confidence, and it unnerved them more than any words could. Samantha spent the next hour negotiating deals and reviewing options, her mind sharp, her focus unwavering. The dealership, which had once been a place of shame, had become her stage, a testament to how far she had come. Her friend, who had accompanied her initially, now watched from the background, amazed at Samantha's transformation. There was no trace of the girl who had shuffled and stuttered. In her place was someone who had taken control of her life. By the time she left, Samantha had secured contracts for several high-end vehicles, leaving the showroom buzzing with excitement. The men who had once mocked her stood frozen, unable to comprehend the turn of events. A waitress had returned, not begging for respect, but commanding it. Samantha waved politely, smiled, and stepped into her car, feeling the weight of satisfaction and vindication settle in her chest. Her journey from embarrassment to empowerment was complete, and she knew that she had truly earned the right to stand tall. If you're watching this story and feeling inspired by Samantha's journey, write in the comments from where you're watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories of triumph, courage, and unexpected success. As Samantha drove away, she couldn't help but feel a mixture of triumph and anticipation. Little did she know, her story wasn't finished. The universe had one more surprise waiting for her. Sleek black car pulled up alongside her at a red light, and through the tinted window, she caught a glimpse of a familiar face. It was the billionaire she had once admired from afar, someone she had seen in news articles and at charity events, always commanding attention effortlessly. He lowered the window slightly, offering a polite nod. "Miss Samantha, I presume?" She blinked, surprised that he knew her name. "Yes, and you are." "I've been following your progress," he said, his voice calm, almost amused. Quite an impressive rise in such a short time. Samantha felt a flush of pride, but also curiosity. Why was he speaking to her personally? He gestured toward the car dealership in the distance. "I believe we have some unfinished business there." Her heart skipped a beat. The thought of returning to that showroom, even as a successful investor, still carried the faint shadow of old humiliation. But she squared her shoulders. "Lead the way," she said, her voice steady and confident, betraying none of her earlier nerves. The billionaire smiled faintly, sensing her strength and determination. Inside the dealership, the staff whispered and stole glances. Samantha noticed that even the three men who had mocked her before were hesitant now. The billionaire CEO, however, made his presence commanding without a word, and Samantha realized instantly why he held such power. He approached the manager with a business proposal, one that included Samantha directly. An opportunity she couldn't have imagined a year ago. Samantha listened carefully, absorbing every detail, her mind racing with possibilities and strategies. The proposal involved a collaboration, her investment firm managing a fleet of luxury vehicles for his company's events and charity functions. It was an offer that promised visibility, wealth, and influence, all wrapped in a chance to prove herself on a larger stage. She considered it carefully, weighing the risks against the potential rewards, remembering all the long nights and sacrifices she had endured. Finally, she extended her hand, sealing the deal with a firm, confident shake, and the billionaire CEO smiled approvingly. Word of Samantha's rise spread quickly through the city, reaching media outlets and social circles alike. The same people who had laughed at her now read articles praising her intelligence, determination, and business acumen. Samantha never sought revenge. Her success was her response, her quiet but undeniable statement of power. Yet when the three men from the dealership saw her on television, their expressions mirrored disbelief and shame. Samantha kept her humility despite her newfound status. She continued to work tirelessly, ensuring that her investments were ethical, impactful, and meaningful. The billionaire CEO became a mentor of sorts, offering guidance, opening doors, and occasionally sharing quiet wisdom over coffee in her office. Their relationship was professional, but Samantha couldn't deny a subtle sense of camaraderie, an understanding born from ambition, resilience, and shared vision. Together, they began orchestrating projects that changed not just their lives, but the lives of many others who were overlooked or underestimated. Months passed, and Samantha's firm grew, gaining attention from international investors, philanthropic organizations, and prominent entrepreneurs. She never forgot her roots, the days of waiting tables, enduring mockery, and struggling to make ends meet. Each success reminded her why she had pushed herself, why she had chosen to rise despite the odds stacked against her. Her humility and authenticity made her approachable, admired not just for wealth, but for character and perseverance. One evening, Samantha returned to the very dealership where it had all started, not for business, but for closure. The staff greeted her warmly, some timidly, others with admiration, and the three men who had mocked her avoided eye contact entirely. She walked through the showroom slowly, taking in every detail, the scent of leather, the polished floors, the echoes of past humiliation now replaced with quiet triumph. A subtle smile crossed her face. She had transformed the place from a symbol of shame into a milestone of victory. The billionaire CEO arrived shortly after, standing beside her as they surveyed the dealership together. "You've changed a lot since the last time you were here," he said, tone almost conversational, yet respectful. Samantha laughed softly. "Not just me. The whole place feels different now, somehow." He nodded. "It's remarkable how strength and determination can reshape the world around us." Together, they discussed upcoming projects, investments, and collaborations, their voices blending into a rhythm of ambition and shared vision. Samantha's confidence had grown into something unshakable, a force that influenced not just her own life, but the environment around her. Her past humiliation had become her motivation, and her future, once uncertain, now gleamed with endless possibilities. For Samantha, success was more than wealth. It was resilience, courage, and the power to rise above every obstacle. As she drove home that night, Samantha reflected on the journey, the laughter, the mockery, the struggles, and the small victories that had built her. She realized that the humiliation she had once felt was a seed, one that had grown into confidence, strategy, and ultimate triumph. The city lights reflected in her eyes, a reminder that the world was vast, opportunities were endless, and determination could change anything. And in her heart, she knew the waitress who had been laughed at was gone, replaced by a woman who commanded respect, success, and admiration. If you felt inspired by Samantha's journey from humiliation to triumph, write in the comments from where you're watching, and subscribe to the channel to watch more stories of courage, determination, and unexpected victories.